All right, as I bring in Brady Quinn from Sirius XM NFL Radio, I gotta say congratulations, man. We were talking off air, and you got another baby, another baby.
Yeah, we've got 3 girls now under the age of 4. So thoughts and prayers with us, please, because my wife's going to need it right now. I don't know how I was able to work it out to actually be here 2 weeks after we just had our 3rd. So.
You've got 3 weddings to pay for.
I know, 3 weddings. It's going to be. Hopefully they marry some good guys. Hopefully they marry guys like Ben Leber. Yeah. There you go.
I would say destination wedding.
Yes.
Destination wedding, small wedding of about your 15 to 20 closest friends.
That's the thing I love about destination weddings is you don't necessarily have to make them small because just people probably won't show up. Exactly. So exactly, you can invite as many people as you want, just see if they show up.
Yeah. All right. Well, we got the personal stuff out of the way. We're talking to you once again from the NFL Scouting Combine here in Indianapolis. Just high level stuff. You've been here just kind of a short time. I know we're all kind of getting kicked off here, but what's been some of the high level storylines that you guys have talked about on the radio show and kind of the big NFL topics right now?
Yeah, I think that the biggest thing right now is the CBA and understanding that there could be a potential deal that could get struck somewhere in the next week or so, maybe a little bit more than that. But how that could potentially impact free agency, for example, right? There might be more cap space if the deal's done, before this year starts, right, before the beginning of the new league year. And if it's not, then you talk to some of the general managers, and they have the access or the ability to use the franchise tag and the transition tag. So really, depending on what happens, that's been a topic of conversation. Obviously, if you want to get into the weeds a little bit, you can talk about hand size and Joe Burrow and whether or not that matters or if that should be a big deal. But outside of that so far, I would say things have mostly kind of stuck around, kind of the CBA, the new change in format here at the Combine, and then how that has been really for the coaches, general managers, and players.
As a former quarterback yourself, do you like some of the changes that they've implemented? Looking at more skill specific, what you're going to see on Sundays with some of the fade balls and some of the things with quarterbacks, receivers, some of the running back position drills have changed a little bit, and defensive back drills have changed a little bit.
Honestly, I like some of the changes. The fade, that's fine. It's a little bit more applicable to what they're doing now in the game. But all this stuff for me, it's funny. Like doing it professionally as a part of the media, it's more about the interviews. It's more about getting exposure to these guys and seeing what they're like as people. And then we don't get the medical grades, but those are the 2 biggest important keys to all this. People can talk about the entertainment value of it, but the 40-yard dash is my favorite part. So unless we're just talking about guys running and seeing if potentially Henry Ruggs can break John Ross's record, that's the only thing I'm really tuning in to watch.
People are betting on this stuff now. Betting and fantasy has become a part of the NFL Combine somehow, some way, and people are like looking at this 40 time like it's something you can look at for fantasy draft stuff.
As they should. That's part of the intrigue of all this. If we're going to go ahead and try to have baseline testing for why not? Why not have the ability to kind of test all that? The field drills and all that, again, I think in particular for quarterbacks, I look at it a little more pessimistically because it's not applicable to what they're asked to do in a game. And you would know this better than anything else. When you're a quarterback and you're out there, one, throwing a T-shirt and shorts doesn't show much, but it's getting hit and then getting back up and then being able to throw the football again and time again. That's what playing quarterback is. It's not, throwing to a guy you've never thrown to before and, in the middle of a dome in a T-shirt and shorts.
Because we're at the Combine right now, I know there's a lot to learn with draft prospects and all that stuff, but the Vikings sit at number 25. And, we're all speculating that, there's some help that could be done at offensive line. Yeah. There could be some help done at corner, maybe even interior defensive line. Do you have any sort of sense on what your instincts kind of tell you where the Vikings may land at 25?
Yeah, I would say offensive lineman, depending on who's available. There's 5 tackles that you would say would potentially go there. If you're looking for an interior offensive lineman too, I think you're probably even more scarce at that position in this draft. But the reason why I mentioned the tackles is I think there's 5 that could go in the first round, and then there's a drop-off. Yeah. And so depending on how teams end up selecting that group, because I do think you're going to see all 5 go in the first round. When you're talking about the Jedrick Wills, Andrew Thomas, Josh Jones out of Houston, I'm really high on him. I don't know if quite as many people are. Tristan Wirfs out of Iowa, for example, just to name 4 of them. But depending on how those guys get selected, how many quarterbacks get selected, I think that could potentially leave an offensive lineman or 2 at that spot. And that would be the direction that I would go because I don't know outside of Jeffrey Okudah at cornerback, I see anyone that's even close to quite as good. I think you've got the second tier kind of after him. And that's where you get into a group like a Damon Arnett, for example, his teammate out of Ohio State. He could be a guy that you get maybe in the third, fourth round that could come in and play and do a good job. But again, you're not going to find anyone that played as well as Jeff Okudah. And as far as defensive lineman, interior guys, there again, 2 top guys in this draft: Derek Brown, Javon Kinlaw, and then after that, you get a little bit more of a drop off there. So offensive line would be where I'd want to go, because I do think that helps improve obviously the play of Kirk Cousins, knowing he's a pocket passer, but also the running game to help impact that and give him a little bit more help too.
Of course, a former quarterback would want more protection up front. Last question, this one can be really quick. If the Vikings walk away with the Lombardi Trophy after the 2020 season, it'll be because of what?
I think their offensive line play, because I think all those things will amount to. I mean, Kirk's proven he can win the big games. He did that this past year in New Orleans in overtime. So I think it's going to be the offensive line play. If they give him the protection that they need, I think the defense is good enough. I think they're going to be able to win the Super Bowl. That would be a reason why they're winning the Super Bowl.
You're the best, man. Use this opportunity to get some sleep, because you're not going to get a lot of sleep with new baby at home. Congrats again, man.
I'll do my best.